Stimulus checks sending out immediately if this happens. And yes, this would include the low income, Social Security, retirement, disability, SSDI, survivors, SSI, VA, and RRB. I have all the details and what you need to know right here in the video, so let's get right into it. I know in this video, I do want to address a question that I've seen showing up down below in the comment section from some of you here in the community asking, what would it take for them to send out another stimulus check immediately like they did here over the last few years? That's a great question because I do want to talk through the details and the contingency plans because this would happen and it has happened many times over the last several decades and they certainly will do it again. But I want to talk through the details and exactly what it would take and what's on the table right now because things are cracking and they're cracking pretty good. Let's get right into it. Really fast before we do, thanks so much for joining me. If you're new here or if you haven't done so yet, please make sure to subscribe right down below the video. It's totally free to do so, and I'm here for you right by your side every single day to advocate on your behalf as well as to keep you updated with what is actually going on and how anything popping up right now you can possibly grab and or take advantage of, or any changes to your monthly benefits that we talk about right here on the channel so often. So again, thanks so much for joining me. Please subscribe down below and also share this video with your friends, family, and social media with that share button right down below the video. All right, thanks so much. Let's get into it and talk about what's going on here and the contingencies in order to send out stimulus checks immediately. All right, one quick side note here. I just want to throw this out here. Now again, I just want to give this out as a point just to make really quickly here, okay? This has nothing to do for the most part, but I just want to throw it out there just to give you a quick example. The country of China, okay? China is talking about injecting a lot more stimulus into their economy, okay? Why? Why would they do such a thing? Because their economy is not doing very good, okay? So my point is, even around the globe right now, some of these other countries out there are injecting tons and tons of stimulus, okay? My point is, here in the United States, what we experienced between the years of early 2020, late 2020, and early 2021, with all the stimulus checks that went out, that was not the first time. That is not a first occurrence in the United States. In fact, we've seen stimulus checks multiple times over the last several decades. We've seen stimulus checks multiple times. And again, we will see them again in the future, okay? This is not a one-off thing. This is not a one-time thing where it's like, great, they helped us out, and then it's over forever. No, it's not that way at all. In fact, this is a tried and true plan. They've done it multiple times, and they know this is very effective, which is why they continue to do it, okay? All right, let me talk you through the details, and again, I will answer those questions that I've seen down below. Now, obviously, the questions are asked in a variety of ways, but essentially, you kind of get the point here, okay? All right, so let's talk through what's going on here, okay? Here's what it comes down to, and again, I want to make this very clear because sometimes it can be confusing. When you listen to this video, you might be thinking, wait, what is he even talking about? This has nothing to do with a stimulus check. It actually does have 100% to do with that. It all comes down to 100% the economy. In fact, with everything that we're looking at here, the major factor that it comes down to is the job market, okay? We might be thinking, and again, I just said this, but I want to make this very clear. You might be wondering, wait, you're talking about jobs now? This has nothing to do with getting a stimulus check. In fact, it does. 100%. It's all about the job market, okay? The reason for that is the job market is like the pivotal linchpin when it comes down to the economy. If jobs are not being created, if jobs are being lost, that simply means companies, small, medium, and large, are not hiring. They're laying people off. That simply means that profits are going down. It simply means that sales are not being made. It means that inventory is not being stocked up. It means that people are not working, in the corporate centers, in the warehouses, stocking shelves. The list goes on and on. People are not, tending to the cash register. And again, the list just goes on and on. Those are just a couple examples that I want to give you. So again, if we're seeing a rising unemployment rate, as in more people being unemployed and less people being hired for jobs, it's very important. That is very important when it comes down to the economy. The same thing like what we saw basically every recession and every major economic contraction over the last 22, 23 years or so, every single time we see a major drop in jobs created, as in the unemployment rate rising, and then all of a sudden, what happens? The economy collapses, and boom, we go down to this major recession / economic contraction, whatever you want to call it, and then what do? They print up hundreds of billions or trillions of dollars, and they plow it into the economy to bring it back, okay? It's the same thing that we've seen happen multiple times here over the last several decades. In 2000, 2001 with the dot-com bubble, with the whole tech crash, that whole thing happened then. 2008, 2009 with the real estate bust. In 2020, 2021 with that whole situation, same old situation, okay? And again, this is nothing new. They've done it many, many times before, okay? Now, there are other factors that we want to continue watching, but when it really comes down to it, there's a couple different things we're watching very closely right now. Number one, like I said, the job market, okay? This is something that's very, very important. Now, if we were to happen to see something that happened where, just like what we saw in early 2020, in fact, let me give you a quick example. What happened in early 2020, right? Things happened very fast. All of a sudden, one day, we're all living, we're all doing well, things are fine, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, all of a sudden they're talking about canceling everything, closing down, everything is shut down, stuff like that. That happened very, very fast. They brought the CARES Act. By the way, the CARES Act was essentially the first of the stimulus packages that we knew about, which, by the way, they passed multiple stimulus packages. This was just like the big one that we all knew about because this is the one that contained the $1,200 stimulus checks, okay? It was $2.3 trillion. They passed that in a matter of like 10 days. From the time that they conceived of it until the time that it went through Congress, they passed it through and it was signed by the president. In total, it was like 10 or something days. It was not very long at all. They did that thing very, very fast. And with a matter of just days there, we had checks in our accounts, okay? My point is, when it comes down to a situation where they see, oh, wow, the economy is falling off a cliff, things are happening really fast here, they work quickly, which is kind of surprising because has Congress ever been associated with the word quick or fast or speedy or whatever else words we want to put with that? Generally, no, right? They're generally not associated with any words that represent fast or speed of any kind, right? Generally, they're associated with other words that represent slow, very slow, / not doing anything, right? And again, we've talked about that many times here on the channel in other videos. But when it comes down to it, this is what we've got to watch very closely, okay? We're starting to see some cracks out there in the economy. Now, again, if you've been watching the videos here on the channel for a while now, you know that you've heard me say this for a while now. Again, it's very, very slow. It takes a long, long time. It's like a big freighter or a big cruise ship out on the ocean, cruising at, I don't know, however fast those things move. I don't really know how fast they move, okay? But however, they're cruising out there on the ocean, right? And all of a sudden they decide, hey, we're going to pivot 180 degrees and we're going to go the opposite direction. Does that thing just slam on the brakes and immediately stop right there and turn around? No, it takes a very long time, right? It has to slow down and then it has to make a very wide corner. And then eventually, once it's turned around 180 degrees, then it starts moving in the opposite direction in a slow manner, and then it starts picking up speed. Boom, right? It's like an airplane flying around in the sky, right? Does that airplane just say, oh, just kidding, we're going to go the opposite direction, let's just flip around right here? No, it has to take a huge, wide circle, or half of a circle in this case, to make that turn, right? So again, kind of the same situation that goes on with the economy. It takes a very long time to slow down and pivot and go the opposite direction, but once it does, it happens relatively quickly, just like what we saw in early 2021. Things happened fast. Remember that? It happened all very, very quickly, okay? So these are a few things we're watching. Next, I want to point out really fast here, the Federal Reserve, okay? Federal Reserve. They've been out there raising interest rates. Last year, 2022, they raised interest rates aggressively through the course of the entire year. The first half of 2023, they raised interest rates. Not as aggressively, but they did yet again. Now, they paused for a short time, and then again, they're doing some more interest rate hikes, stuff like this, okay? Some very important things here, okay? Because all of these interest rate hikes are not going to get away with no consequences on the economy. They're going to crush the economy eventually. It's going to take a little while here, but eventually what's happening is there's less access to capital, as in the people, small businesses, medium businesses that simply don't have the bankroll to do different things and they need to borrow money. It's kind of hard to borrow money when it's costing 7%, when just a couple of years ago it was like 2.5%, maybe 3% to borrow money. It's more than doubled now that, okay? It's very expensive to borrow money. A lot of small businesses can't afford it. Medium businesses, small businesses make up a huge, huge portion of the economy. It's not just big businesses. A lot of us just hear about the big Fortune 500s, the big trillion-dollar market cap companies out there, the big ones that we all see are advertising on TV. Those are the big ones that we hear about. but they're not the major players in this economy, okay? They play a role, but they're not the economy. It's the small and medium businesses. That's where it's all at. And these are the ones that are struggling right now because they can't get access to capital, okay? And if they can, it's very expensive. Nobody wants to borrow money at 7%. You can't make any money on that. It's like you know what I mean? They can't do it, okay? Businesses are there to make money. They're not there to just hemorrhage cash left and right? I mean, maybe some of them are, but most are there to turn a profit, to pay their employees, to maybe buy some inventory, maybe to expand, things like that. It's the whole point of business, right? So, long story short is with these rapid interest rate hikes out of the Federal Reserve, it's all impacting in a big way. It takes a while to work this through the system, but eventually when they realize, oh wait, nobody has access to capital and these businesses are dropping like flies, then we got a problem, okay? It's going to take a long time to bring that back. So when it comes down to it, when we start to see these major cracks that are already emerging in the economy, when we see this whole thing breaking down, this is when Congress, well, okay, I'll change. I was about to say something. We'll change my wording a little bit. When Congress gets up and starts doing something and recognizing, we got a problem, everybody. Let's do something about it. What do? Same thing they've always done, okay? They appropriate hundreds of billions of dollars, trillions of dollars in Congress, and the Federal Reserve goes out, prints money, hundreds of billions, trillions of dollars. The Federal Reserve prints the money, and what do? Well, they push some of it out to the people, they give it to small businesses, they give it to large corporations, they bail out banks, they bail out the states, a bunch of money goes everywhere. And what's the point of that? To spend it, to stimulate the economy. Same old thing, right? Do you kind of get what I'm saying by all this? The whole point of stimulus checks, and again, I want to make this very clear, I've said this multiple times in other videos, the whole point of stimulus checks is not to help us, but rather it's to use us as a proxy to stimulate the economy. That's what they do it for, okay? Just being real, okay? We got to be honest with what's going on here, and that is the reality behind the matter, which is they use us by giving us some money, and they say, here, why don't you take this $1,200 and go buy yourself something? And we say, wow, thanks, that's awesome. We would love to go spend this on something. We take it out, we spend the money, and then we've done exactly what they want us to do. Stimulate the economy, get money into the economy very quickly. And with all of us, we all spend it somewhere else, right? Some of us might go buy clothes. Some of us might go and buy a TV. Some of us might go and buy food. Some of us might pay down bills. Some of us might do all kinds of different things. Some of us might buy a new car, put tires on the car, gas in the car, repair a car, whatever it happens to be. Doesn't really matter. The whole point behind it is the money's being spread out in a lot of different places around the economy, right? So that's the point behind this. When it comes down to it, stimulus checks going out immediately, yeah, it could absolutely happen yet again. It happened a couple years ago. We saw it. It happened super fast, right? Mostly in early 2020 is when it went out the fastest. Late 2020, well, it took a little bit of time there. Early 2021, again, took a little bit more time there. But for the most part, they get these things out fast. When they see a need for the economy to be pumped up, they get these things out fast, okay? So anyway, I just want to make that point really quickly. Now again, we all have to watch the economy. That's really what it comes down to. I know it would seem like, but wait, what about us? Why don't they care about us? Well, they act like they care about us when they're trying to get a vote out of us. That's the only time they care. Other than that, when it's not down to voting season, well, they think about all the other things, their agenda, their needs, their salary, their vacation. It's all about them. But when it comes down to, voting time, then they're like, wow, now we care about the people all of a sudden, right? Oh, yeah, right? We can see right on through the smoke and mirrors. We all know what they're doing here. Typical political games. But my point is, they will absolutely do stimulus checks again. When? That's the big question. Nobody knows. Nobody knows yet. It's all going to be down to the economy. It's all predicated on the economy. When the economy crashes and burns, when the unemployment rate rapidly rises, then guess what? That is when we got to watch, because that is likely when stimulus checks start arriving, okay? But again, we don't know when that's going to be quite yet, okay? Nothing as of right now, but I just want to make sure that we all know that this will likely happen again, okay? It's not anything new. We already know the Federal Reserve will stimulate. How much? That's yet to be known. When's it going to happen? That's yet to be determined. How much is it going to be? We don't know yet. We don't know all those details until we see just how bad it's going to get. Does kind of make sense? Anyway, hope this answers the questions for those of you that been here in the community asking down below in the comment section. I hope that explains it a little bit further. I know a lot of moving parts here, a lot of things going on. You don't need to understand it in, great detail. You don't need to watch all this stuff. I'm watching it all closely, and I'll bring you the details as I get it here in these short videos. So again, please subscribe down below if you haven't done so yet. Share the video with your friends, family, social media, and go back and check out any of the other thousands of videos here on the channel. Until next time, hope this helps you. Enjoy your day. Take care. Have a good one, and catch you again later.